Well, Growers Edge, I think, has made us more money by allowing me to survey the local bids that I'm in the area that I want to sell my grain. The local elevators and the ethanol plants know that this information is out there, so they've got to be competitive if they want to get the grain. You know, we've been able to maximize our return on our farm.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name's Cody Bills. Today is the 4th. It's a Wednesday. That means ethanol production and stocks were out here today. But before we get into that, let's turn over to the grain hedge trading platform and see where we closed off the day. Corn trading down 3/4 cents, soybeans down 16 3/4 cents, and wheat in Chicago down 10 1/4 on the day. Let's talk a little bit about what drove the market. I think a lot of this trade action, especially early on, had to do with the US dollar gaining strength here. You can see, take a look at the chart. This is a daily chart of the dollar index, and you can see we're now up over the highs that we saw back in the middle to late January, and it almost seems that we closed with enough strength that perhaps we'll get follow through here higher in tomorrow's session. That will likely weigh on grains tomorrow as well. Also keep in mind that the Brazilian real continues to lose strength. So this is kind of an interesting situation where Brazil is harvesting their soybeans. The Brazilian real is getting cheaper here. That means that the soybeans down in Brazil are going to be cheaper on the global, more competitive on the global market. To me, this is kind of a double whammy for soybeans. I think this is partly why we saw such a significant decline here in soybean prices. Take a look at the soybean chart here. This is a daily soybean chart. It's a May of the May contract. Each one of these bars represents 1 day worth of price activity. So this is a nice feature that you can get on the Grain Hedge Standard Trading platform. It's very easy to get these charts up. If you prefer bar charts, it's also very easy to change them to bar charts. But you'll notice that really yesterday we broke through this short-term trend line that really started at the beginning of February, and really throughout most of February we were rallying here. We were kind of moving higher. The second half of this rally was really mostly a product of the fact that there was a lot of uncertainty out of Brazil with this trucker strike. Well, not only do we have the Brazilian real declining here, but we also have the resolution of this trucker strike. That is for the trucker strike is for the most part over now, and that was announced here today. So what we get is a sharp decline in soybeans, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some continuation here tomorrow. We may pause, we may move up a little bit, but I think in the longer term, when you look out a month or so from now, we're probably going to have lower prices than where we're at now, simply because we have South American crop coming out of the fields. We have a declining currency down in South America, and to me that's a little bit concerning. Also keep in mind that on the 10th of March here, we're going to have the supply and demand reports. That will also drive the trade. We'll have to stay tuned and see how that turns out. Now, we did have ethanol production out today, and so what we saw there was another decline in ethanol production, down 16,000 barrels per day. We're now sitting at 931,000 barrels per day produced last week. That obviously is not as good as what we've seen, but still seasonally, this is very strong. It's very strong compared to what we saw last year, and we're still well ahead of the pace that the USDA is expecting, and the overall corn used for production, we're still running well ahead of what the USDA is expecting. So with that being said, it's going to be very important to pay close attention to this supply and demand report. We may get a little bit of a revision higher here for corn used for ethanol in that next Tuesday. Also, one thing that I wanted to talk about is export sales that will be coming out here tomorrow. The expectations for those sales is going to be between 700,000 to 1 million metric tons booked for export sales in tomorrow's report. Analysts are expecting soybeans to come out between 300,000 and 500,000, and wheat to come out between 350 and 550,000 metric tons. Other than that, that wraps up today's show. If you have any questions about what I talked about, please don't hesitate to give the office a call. The number is 877-472-4607. I look forward to talking with you. We'll see you here on Thursday.